This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Hey everybody, it is the After Party Live on this Travel Tuesday. Thank you for being here. And we have some birthdays to celebrate today. First of all, it is Murphy's birthday, and 55 today. Happy birthday, Murphy. Is Murphy here? Happy birthday, Murphy. I hope you have a really good one. I hope you're celebrated wherever you go. We are definitely celebrating you here. I would give you the birthday balloons, but when you're by yourself, the picture takes up the whole screen, so you can't see the background. But happy birthday. I hope it's a really, really wonderful day for you. We're so glad that you're part of this Mark Thompson Show, Nikki Maduro Show, After Party community, and it's really been awesome getting to know you. Another birthday today, 18 years old, Janet R.'s daughter, voting in her very first presidential election. How cool would it be to get to vote in your very first election for a female presidential candidate? I love that she gets to do that. So happy birthday to Janet's now adult daughter. Wow, 18 years old. Very cool. We're right behind you over here. I have a 15-year-old, so we're bringing up the rear over here. I saw something that was meant to be offensive to me in the Mark Thompson Show chat, and I actually take it as a compliment. So Mars doesn't apparently has it out for me because I once said, maybe for other reasons too, I don't know. I once said that if you care about women and you care about our health, you would vote for Kamala Harris for president. That if you don't care about us, then you won't vote for her. And I still maintain that, and I still believe it is actually pretty much exactly what Michelle Obama said just a couple days ago. But he's had it out for me ever since that. And today he said, have fun with the yard duty at the after party live. So I thought, well, what does a yard duty do? Helps keep children safe, facilitates healthy, happy relationships. Done. That's not offensive to me. You can call me a yard duty. I'm good with that. Right? Don't you think that's actually a compliment? I'll take it as one. Absolutely. I'm looking back in the chat to see what you guys are talking about. Sandy's, oh yeah, speaking of Mars, I wish he would get one in the MS chat. He's being a jerk lately. I don't think it's just lately. I think it's kind of all the time. My bad. I'm sorry. I think so. What else? Oh, Murphy was here. Have to skip until replay later. I'm smashing the like button. Thank you, Murphy, and wishing you all a happy Tuesday. Thank you for that. Thank you for being here. Happy birthday. I hope when you see this later that you see the love. See the love. Hi, Teacher Lori. Thank you so much. Thanks everyone for being here today. All right. Oh my. Yeah. You know, and the thing is, I don't fault people for having differing opinions, or you can like me, you can not like me, what have you, as long as you're not offensive to other people in the chat or the guests on the show, you're good to go. So he hasn't done anything really that would make me delete him. He can have his opinion. Obviously we have differing points of view, and that's okay. That's okay. All right, let's get into some of these stories, why don't we? Because I have a few good ones, I think. And the first one is about this. Here it is. This area where I guess some people were seen getting busy. And by getting busy, I think you know what I mean. There are these people. What a way to start the show. There are these people in Livonia, Georgia. Hopefully, I'm saying the name of the town wrong. Livonia, Georgia. And they were apparently in a big old fight. And then they reconciled. And you know what happens when you make up? You have some makeup sex. And that is what happened. So the Georgia Police Department, well, in the Livonia Police Department in Georgia, they are issuing this really funny press release asking people that reconcile to get a room rather than copulating in the grass between businesses. You can see that stretch of grass right there. Apparently, that is where it happened. There was a report of public indecency on the grass between McDonald's and the Raceway. That's the Raceway gas station there, right off Interstate 85. Mm. Here's what the press release says. Well, the stupidity of some people never ceases to amaze us, so we have some more helpful hints for those of you visiting our wonderful city. If you decide to exit I 85, exit 173 with your life partner while on a road trip to reconcile your relationship, please don't reconcile in the grass between the McDonald's and the Raceway. Get a room. Go home. Don't reconcile in broad daylight in the grass beside the street. If you're stupid enough to do this, please don't stop in Livonia. Both people, part of this couple, now facing public indecency charges. I mean, wouldn't it have been better to park behind the gas station and go for it in the car? I don't know. Maybe a part of the thrill is being right out there on the grass. So that's the latest from Livonia, Michigan. Here's a fascinating story. We had this story recently about this new categorization. We have life and we have death, and then now we have this in between state where cells keep growing. So this kind of reminded me of that, but also a little bit different. This one is about creatures that have been dubbed immortal. And it's creatures that defy a biological timeline. These are Hydra vulgaris. They are freshwater relatives of jellyfish. They're only about a centimeter long. They have really simple little bodies. They're basically tubes with a plume of tentacles at one end. And maybe, according to researchers, it's the simplicity of their bodies that makes them so long lived. They don't seem to age, like, at all. Scientists say it defies evolutionary theory, it defies scientific expectation, and they call this species biologically immortal because, yes, they can die of disease, they can be snapped up by predators, they cannot find enough food to eat, and they can starve. Apparently, you can squish them in the lab, but they don't die because of cellular inevitability. All right? So they did this big study. There's a professor at Pomona College who then became a grad student at State University of New York, and the research continued. And his name is Daniel Martinez, and he says with careful observation and experimentation, he could catch a hydra in the act of growing older or sentencing. He thought that he could, but he couldn't. He said, I thought there's no way you can escape aging as a multicellular organism. So for 4 years, he looked closely for signs of decline in these hydra in the lab. Maybe were they getting less reproductive? Maybe were there signs they were more likely to die over time? He found no signs. Looked at these creatures. He kept one individual hydra alive for 12 years at a time without noting any markers of age. He said he would have done this for longer, but he had to go live his life. He wanted to go hike on the Pacific Crest Trail. So he kind of ditched the research there. But with all the observations he did manage to collect, he said these things are not dying. He said you can't use the word immortal because they could be killed off in the lab. They're not invincible, but they just don't register time, which is interesting. So these hydra are supposed to be standout examples of this phenomenon where biology never catches up with you, right? That time never catches up with you. They reproduce both sexually and asexually. They create buds that grow into identical clones. That's how they procreate. They don't just survive on through the duplicates, though, they also live on as individuals. And one of the researchers involved, Selena Giuliano. She's at UC Davis. She says it's because they have a lot of stem cells. Their basic bodies are almost entirely made up of these undifferentiated cells that can continually divide and self replace much more readily than even a human heart cell. These hydra can recover and regenerate from nearly any injury as long as a piece of their central body is intact. Every 20 days or so, a hydra is completely renewed, composed of entirely different, though identical, cells from before. So it just keeps making a new hydra. It remakes itself anew. Their stem cells endlessly make new cells is called remarkable. So pretty interesting. Some other animals listed in this article, when you talk about creatures that live a lot longer than you would have thought would be possible, Greenland sharks. Now these are big, 24 feet long up to, weighing more than 2,000 pounds, the largest species of shark, um, which is interesting because for some reason I thought it was great white, but no. And these are also the longest lived known vertebrate species. There was a study done in 2016. They looked at the eye lenses from the bodies of 28 female sharks that were found. And they discovered the oldest was about 400 years old, possibly more than 500 years old. These sharks don't even seem to enter their reproductive years until they're 150. Crazy, right? I know. So, how they managed to live for hundreds and hundreds of years? Possibly their ability to repair their DNA, something similar. They found these animals have an exceptionally large genome with many duplicated genes. Some of them code for DNA repairing cancer and suppressing proteins. So the idea they say is pretty simple. If you have more genes involved in this process, it allows you to survive better and have more DNA repair. Immortal jellyfish, also on the list of these creatures that just live longer than you would think that they would be able to. This is called the immortal jellyfish. Its real name is Turritopsis dohrnii. They have their own unique way of subverting senescence, staying continually in their polyp phase like Hydra, swapping out their individual cells as well. It's called with them transdifferentiation. Naked mole rats are on the list. I didn't want to show you the picture of the naked mole rat because it's not cute. They're known to survive up to 40 years, which is 12 years longer than their closest rodent competition. We know that turtles have an incredibly long lifespan as well. We know can live hundreds of years, right? Did you know this? Maybe you knew this. I didn't know this. Lobster also have an incredibly long lifespan. Lobsters and other shellfish. Apparently, some individual lobsters are estimated to be more than 100 years old. They age very slowly and they never stop growing. The world record holder for lobsters, 44 pounds. They get bigger and bigger until all the growth and molting becomes too much to bear, constructing and shedding ever larger exoskeletons. Eventually becomes too energy intensive, and they eventually cannot molt anymore, and that is when they die. So that's not senescence, um, where in an evolutionary sense cells degrade over time in this case, but they do have a maturity. So, did you know lobsters could be 100 years old? I didn't. Anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting stuff. Let's get to this guy. Speaking of shellfish, I have never seen this before. Perhaps this is why I'm so fascinated by it. This is a Halloween crab. Well, they call it a Halloween crab. And this one hitched a ride on an airplane from Costa Rica to Denver. This Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance said a flight crew discovered this black-faced land crab, also called a Halloween crab, a moon crab, and a Bermuda land crab. Has a lot of different names. The flight crew found it after this plane from Costa Rica landed in Denver. So the folks at the Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance were called out, and now it has a new home at the Denver Conservation, just in time for Halloween. And they're saying to lean into the Halloween spirit, you can catch this crab in our animal ambassador demonstrations at the Gates Amphitheater all month long. After October, it scuttles to its permanent home in Tropical Discovery, where you can continue to learn about this charming crustacean. I just think he's kind of cool looking. Halloween crab, who knew? There's another picture of him, orange and black, just in time. I know a lot of people are really sensitive about bad things that happen to animals. This does have a good outcome, though. This story is about some sheep that got caught in quicksand. Yeah, this happened in Britain Bay, and this pair of sheep got stuck, and they couldn't even walk out to get them because they were sinking in the quicksand as well. This bay search and rescue team went out to England's Morecambe Bay and responded with an amphibious rescue vehicle. This happened when a local hunter spotted some stuck sheep. So the rescuers say two of them were stuck in the sand. They had to use this makeshift walkway. They had to put an inflatable walkway out to even get to them. The sheep had been stuck for several hours, and the sand was setting like concrete around them. And it was too soft to safely walk on. So again, they used these inflatable walkways to reach the sheep and managed to pull these sheep out right as the tide was rising and coming in. So, just in the nick of time, both animals were taken to safety, safely returned to their owner, and both are doing okay. So, that walk on the beach, maybe not such a good choice for those little guys. Yeah, it's so cute. These are macaws. And these ones, these birds, flew away and they got really far. They were at a London zoo and they made a break for it. They were found in a family's garden 60 miles away from the zoo. It's Lily and Margot. They are two blue-throated macaws, and they went missing from a London zoo a week ago. They were flying free. It's part of their daily routine. They just fly free around the zoo at least once a day. But they just kept going. They never returned to their enclosure October 21st after their free flight. And so they had this big campaign, an appeal made to the public to, if they see these escaped parrots, report them. Don't feed them, don't approach them, just call the zoo. They'll come get them. 6 days later, somebody called the zoo. This family in Buckton, Cambridgeshire, spotted them in their trees behind their garden, 60 miles from the zoo. Then they flew away again before they were tracked down to a field right by this public walkway in a nearby community. Here they are. They're so pretty, right? And so that's when the crew from the zoo arrived to collect Lily and Margot. They flew right to the zookeeper's arms. They were given pumpkin seeds and walnuts and pecans. They're both in good condition. They're now in quarantine at the on-site animal hospital just to make sure everything's okay, and then they're going to rejoin their parents. So, back safely where they should be. Love a happy ending. I've talked about this before. This is a story about whether or not it is safe to smoke marijuana while you're pregnant. And there are medical marijuana dispensaries, or not medical anymore, just marijuana dispensaries. And from what I understand, reading several articles on the matter, you could walk in and they will tell you, oh no, it's totally safe. You're fine. It turns out are not fine at all. Marijuana use during pregnancy could impact children's behavior, could impact their thinking skills. So while it might ease up morning sickness a little bit, it might also harm your child's development. This, according to this new study reported Monday in the journal JAMA Pediatrics. Cannabis exposure in the womb associated in early childhood with poorer thinking skills. This is not what we want. A generation of people who have subpar thinking skills. These kids also have behavioral problems like impulse control, poor attention, aggressive behavior in some cases. So read the researchers involved at the Center for Biobehavioral Health at Nationwide Children's Hospital in Ohio say that although cannabis is a natural product, there still are a lot of risks to using it during pregnancy. And while some women might turn to it to deal with common issues of pregnancy like nausea, sleep problems, and stress, it really is not recommended. So they say kids exposed to weed during pregnancy had more difficulty controlling impulses, paying attention, planning based on observations of their behavior in play laboratory environment. They also tended to show more aggressive behavior, and that this information confirms and expands on long-standing evidence from previous research. So be careful. If you know anyone who's pregnant, maybe mention it. Mention it. Pretty scary. This is a kind of cool thing. Look at all the places that they have found for the Artemis to land on the moon. NASA has identified now 9 possible landing regions for the Artemis 3 moon mission. There's a lot of space up there. Look where they can land. The astronauts will be returning to the moon for the first time in more than 50 years. Artemis, says NASA, will return humanity to the moon and visit unexplored areas. The selection of these regions, these 9 spots you see on the screen here, shows they say their commitment to landing crews safely near the lunar South Pole, where they will help uncover new scientific discoveries and learn to live on the lunar surface. That's kind of cool. These 9 landing regions were assessed for their science value and mission availability near the moon's south pole, including Peak near Cabus B, Haworth, Malapert, Massif, Mons Mouton Plateau, Mons Mouton Noble Rim 1, Noble Rim 2, De Gerlache Rim 2, and Slater Plain. How they've named all these things already is really interesting. They analyzed all these regions using NASA's Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter, and that allowed them to look at the terrain, the lightning, the communication capabilities with Earth, all of these things. So the hope is that the Artemis 3 mission to the moon will take a crew up in September of 2026. And this moon south pole supposed to be a different moon from the 1969 Apollo mission. That's according to a NASA administrator. The South Pole pockmarked with deep craters. Because of the angle of the sun coming in, most of the craters are in total darkness, which lessens the amount of area that they can land on and that they can use. It has never been explored by a crewed mission. It contains permanently shadowed areas that could preserve resources, including water, according to NASA. So it's a very different environment than humans have explored before on the moon. They say it offers access to some of the moon's oldest terrain, cold, shadowed regions that could contain these other compounds. And maybe we'll make some new discoveries, do some amazing science. So there you go. There's the 9 spots. And finding the right location for this moment, they say, begins with identifying the safe places for the first landing and then trying to match that with opportunities for science from this new place on the moon. I think that's really cool. Shall we do the lotto of the day? Let's do it. Here it is. This is this Carolina man who found a $20 bill in the parking lot. you know, he was walking along, this carpenter from North Carolina. His name is Jerry. He found a $20 bill in the parking lot outside a Speedway convenience store. And so he thought, why not? Right? I mean, he didn't have $20 before, might as well let it ride. So he takes the $20 bill that he found on the ground. He adds in another $5 and he buys this $25 extreme cash scratch off ticket. And it turns out to be a winner, a $1 million winner, as a matter of fact. He had planned first to buy a different lottery ticket that the store didn't have. So he settled for playing this other game instead, and that's when he won the $1 million jackpot. He said he's gonna he claimed his prize money. He took the lump sum instead of the 1 million, he walked away with 600,000. And he said, oh, and then so here's how it works. So he opts to receive the prize as a lump sum of 600,000 instead of as an annuity over 20 years. And he ended up taking, after taxes home, $429,000. That's pretty good for a $20 bill you found at the parking lot. He plans to use his winnings to retire after 56 years of working as a carpenter. He plans to help his children, but a family celebration, he said, is first on the list. Here's a quote: "We are going to head straight to Golden Corral and eat everything they've got." So, a big party at the Golden Corral. Look at that. Well done, Jerry. So back to some science for a second. They're trying to track space debris and especially satellite debris. There are these space agencies now tracking debris from this satellite explosion in orbit. It was a Boeing built satellite, and the debris they think may potentially be threatening. The explosion was triggered by some type of anomaly. The cause of it is still under investigation, but the US Space Force says this could be bad. The fragments of this might be a danger to other satellites as well. And the problem, according to a spokesperson at Spaceflux, says that there's a lot of uncertainty regarding the orbits of these fragments. They can be potentially dangerous for other satellites, but we don't know it yet. The breakup of this satellite interrupted power and communication services across Europe, Asia, and Africa. And now they've set up this failure review board to look into this anomaly that happened to this Boeing satellite. And they're trying to track the debris from it as well. So, this is one of these satellites made by Boeing, delayed for 3 months before entering service because of a primary thruster problem. And now the Russian space agency, Roscosmos, says they are tracking more than 80 fragments of destroyed satellite, which poses a potential threat to all operating spacecraft as well. The destruction of the satellite was instantaneous and it was high energy. So, there's a potential threat to all operating spacecraft in this region of outer space. Boeing has said that it's lost more than $6 billion in the third quarter of 2024. Now, does that have to do with the, the plane, the door that blew off the plane? The spaceship that didn't quite work out well and now has stranded a couple of astronauts on the International Space Station, an exploding, apparently pretty high energy blast of this Boeing satellite? Yeah. Boeing not doing too well. Still, just in case. Uh, okay, I need to get to our Travel Tuesday, but I have another story that I wanted to share with you. I have a couple actually. Let's do this one about kisses, because love. You can never go wrong with love, right? This is a story about why we kiss. What made us start to kiss each other? And it wasn't done for any we don't kiss each other for any reason, right? It doesn't do anything. If anything, it could spread disease. So, why human beings decided this was a good idea? Researchers have looked into the origins of kissing. They think it might have to do with body hair. They think that kissing maybe has to do with adults cleaning each other. That kissing isn't a signal of affection in humans, that it represents a surviving, devolved form of primate grooming that conserved its ancestral form, context, and function. This is a paper published in the journal Evolutionary Anthropology. That today's primates usually finish grooming sessions by protruding their lips and carefully sucking excess debris, insects, and parasites caught in another ape's fur. This reinforces social bonds as well. But cleaning sessions, according to this paper, are only long and focused as an ape's body hair allows. So grooming logically took less time and effort as our human ancestors evolved with less fur over thousands of years. But the kisses may have remained social staples despite being less of a health necessity. That shorter sessions of grooming would have predictably retained this final kissing stage until it eventually became the only vestige of a once ritualistic behavior for signaling and strengthening social and kinship ties in the ancestral ape. But what they do note is that kissing is not universal across human cultures. 46% of 168 surveyed cultures around the world maintain romantic and social kissing practices. Indigenous hunter gatherer communities look at kissing as gross. Non ape primates engage in different social bonding rituals. There are monkeys that stick their fingers in the nostrils and the eyes of their closest community members. So I don't know. There's another thought to why we kiss as well, and that perhaps it also has origins in possibly nursing infants or pre-chewing food for young apes. So, is it the grooming? Is it the nursing? Is it the feeding? Whatever it is, I'm kind of glad that we have it. I like the kissing. I'd be sad without the kissing. So there you go. All right, you guys, it is time. Well, let me go to the chat and see what you guys have to say about the kissing. Here it is. My computer's taking a long time. Rev says, so should I just go back to plucking fleas off my mate? No, I don't think so. Damn dirty apes. Smitchy smitchy, says Mindy. Be aware says, age of laser hair removal. You're on a comedy roll today, Heather. Wait, I missed it. And Heather says, I'm so glad I'm alive during the age of laser hair removal. I guess. Then you don't have parasites and fleas hopping around your body. Uh-huh. Mindy says, my husband really needs to do something about that body hair. Come on. Love it. Oh, now they're trying to ruin kissing. Kind of, yeah. I mean, the origin of kissing is interesting. It doesn't make me not want to kiss. The next time you kiss someone, are you going to be thinking about the origin of kissing? And if so, my bad, I'm sorry. Mo says the need for the disease to spread manipulates the mammal to interact and lick each other. Well, no. And that's what they're saying is it doesn't make biological sense. That if anything, we should avoid kissing each other, right? Breathing on each other, swapping spit. Apparently we don't. Now, apes kiss. I'm looking at your comments. All right. We're moving on from kissing to Travel Tuesday. Here it comes. And because of all the hoopla and the possibility that this place could change the direction or the outcome of the upcoming presidential election, I thought, is Puerto Rico really a floating island of garbage? Let's find out. So we're going to Puerto Rico. Let's check out some pictures of Puerto Rico. Guess what? That doesn't look like garbage to me. That looks incredible. Look at that white beach and all that greenery and the the colors of blue. I'm not seeing a lot of garbage over there. Mm-mm. This is a list, and I don't know if we'll get through the whole thing. This is a list of the 20 best places to visit in Puerto Rico. And the first one is this beautiful city, Old San Juan. So much history here. Vibrant beyond its colorful colonial architecture. And the architecture is incredible. Brightly colored, brightly painted. Everywhere you look, something so interesting. There's an iconic street called Umbrella Street, Calle de la Fortaleza. There are cobblestone streets you can see here, lined with centuries old mansions, a Spanish fortress crowning the western tip of an historic neighborhood, spectacular ocean views. This neighborhood has countless rooftop restaurants. There's a bar called La Factoria, named the best bar in the Caribbean in 2024. This is all in Old San Juan. Beautiful. How about this? The largest island off the coast of Puerto Rico is called Vieques. This is the second of the 20 best things to do while you are in the Puerto Rico area. Untouched beaches. This is the most popular attraction, bioluminescent Mosquito Bay. It glows blue at night as you kayak through waters filled with phosphorescent plankton. Enjoy a day trip to Vieques Island, or you can spend a few nights in one of 11 unique accommodations at Finca Victoria. They have cabins, they have tree houses, vintage Airstream trailers, all around lush vegetation of the interior of Vieques Island. And since we're island hopping in Puerto Rico, why don't we stop at number 3 on the list? This is Luquillo. This is my jam. Look at that. Nice beach park. Are you seeing it floating trash? I'm not. I'm not seeing that at all. This is Capital del Sol, or Capital of the Sun. This is home to some of the most beautiful beaches in this Puerto Rico area. There's public amenities, there's showers, there's picnic shelters, and there's some quieter options as well. Luquillo is best experienced after a day at neighboring El Yunque National Forest, or you can use the town as a base for exploring less visited areas of the rainforest. Oh, what about this? Looks pretty clean to me. This is Palomino Bay. The I guess Bad Bunny has a song that has a line, "Forget the Maldives, I'll stay in Palomino." There aren't bungalows that are hanging out over the water here, but there are white sands and clear seas. It's a 100-acre uninhabited island off the eastern coast of the Puerto Rican mainland, and it is for the exclusive use of the guests of the El Conquistador Resort, located just a ferry ride away. So you stay at El Conquistador, you can take the ferry over to this incredible Palomino Bay and spend the day lounging on this beautiful beach. I'm going to say yes. Whatever they're doing there, I think they're doing it right. I'm not seeing anything that would keep me away from Puerto Rico yet. How about this? This is another place that looks like it's right up my alley. It's called Condado. There's beautiful beaches in Puerto Rico. Check this out. This is Condado. It's an oceanfront neighborhood, the place to be in San Juan. There are upscale apartments, the city's best restaurants, fantastic shopping. The Placita de Santurce, a favorite with locals and visitors. Lots They have street parties and cultural events. The place to stay in Condado apparently is their Condado Vanderbilt Hotel. There's the Condado Ocean Club, La Concha Resort, all right along some of the most beautiful beachfront in San Juan. This is amazing. It's funny. My daughter, when you're in elementary school and everyone gets assigned a state or a territory, and I remember I was assigned Hawaii when I was in elementary school because I had a connection to it, right? We have no connection other than Nikki Maduro to Puerto Rico, and Julia was assigned Puerto Rico. And what an amazing time we had to learn all about this amazing country and the history here. Truly incredible. This is Dorado Beach. It is a retreat from energetic San Juan, palm fringed, pristine beaches of Dorado Beach. There's a Ritz Carlton Dorado Beach Reserve. It's probably the most exclusive resort on the island. I probably can't afford to stay there, but if you can, have at it. They have championship golf courses, a sanctuary esque spa botanico, a treehouse treatment room at the spa. Definitely a luxury experience. So, yeah, pretty incredible. What about the rainforests? That's another thing on the list to go check out and see. El Yunque, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, El Yunque National Forest. It is the only tropical forest within the United States National Forest System. So that makes it pretty special in and of itself. And it's a must see and a must check out if you are in Puerto Rico. There's a picture of it. It is one of the island's natural gems, the El Yunque National Forest. There are hiking trails, there are rivers, hidden waterfalls. Ooh, we love a waterfall on the After Party Live. There's so much to see, you can't do it in a single day. Natural swimming holes. There's a tower which offers this panoramic canopy vista from an elevation of more than 1,500 feet. They have farm to table Puerto Rican restaurants in this area. So, pretty cool. So, if you can't get over to one of these bioluminescent beaches or Vieques or one of these other islands, the place they say you shouldn't miss is Paraguera. That it's a great place to recreate. La Parguera, my apologies, La Parguera. So if you can't get to the Vieques Island, you can't go check out that really cool bioluminescent bay, then La Parguera on Puerto Rico's southwestern coast also has a bioluminescent bay. It is the only one in Puerto Rico where swimming in the waters of bioluminescence is allowed. So that's definitely a place. I'll show you here. I'll show you what it looks like. Pretty beautiful. There's a lot of people kayaking, having some fun. Look at that. Pretty beautiful place. They say you can drive here. You can stay in one of the area's small guest houses. You can spend the day visiting nearby keys, snorkeling, paddle boating among the mangroves here. So, Parguera. Yeah, I think that's pretty nice. I like to go kayaking out there. And there's a lot to see and investigate. You think going to the beach, you're just laying there, and how many beaches can you possibly visit? Well, what if you are going to see something really interesting. Old history on the beaches. This place is called Culebra. It's right off the eastern shore of the main island of Puerto Rico. They say it's home to less than 2,000 people, but it has this flamenco beach, which is often on top of the world's most beautiful beach list. There's an abandoned graffiti covered US Navy tank at one end of the shore, which has now become an Instagram icon and a dark monument to the island's past use for naval gunning and bombing exercises. A lot of people go out there and have their picture taken with that. So it's become kind of a landmark in this area. The beach is incredible, though. Really, really beautiful. This is the picture we started with. It's called Culebrita. You have it here. There it is. Culebrita. And this is a place you can get. You hop on a water taxi, and it's a remote islet of Culebrita. It's about 15 minutes away. Impressive beaches, impossibly clear water. Tortuga Beach is here because of all the sea turtles that nest here year after year. It is considered one of the best beaches in Puerto Rico. God, they have so many good beaches. I love it. Here's another one. This one is called Cayo Icacos. It's another white sandy key, this one located off of the eastern coast of Puerto Rico. And Cayo looks like a place that you don't want to miss. Really, really beautiful. Check out this one. Here it is. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Looks like this perfect little island. I'm not seeing a lot of garbage here, you guys. I think they got it wrong. It's a really popular day trip, this destination. You can book a catamaran excursion to check out these beaches and the shallow waters of this uninhabited island. And if you like caves, which you know we do on this show, why not check out Rio Camuy Caves? The Rio Camuy Caves, surrounded by this lush vegetation, just beautiful. So you go from this island and then you go check out these caves. Look at how much there is to see here. Really beautiful. This is in the northwestern Puerto Rico area. Rio Camuy Cave Park. They are limestone caverns. They have been carved out over centuries by this immense underground river, Rio Camuy. Geologists have identified at least 220 caves and 17 miles of natural tunnels. Much of it still remains unexplored. You do have to make a reservation, so you have to book in advance with a tour company. So once you're done checking out the caves, why not surf? Because that's a big thing to do in Puerto Rico, especially if you're at this beach called Rincon. Apparently, really good surf out at Rincon. And it looks magical. Really does. Here's a picture of Rincon. Look at the sky. This is on Puerto Rico's western shore. This is a prime surfing destination in the Caribbean. There are numerous beaches that offer waves for surfers of all levels. Domes Beach is where you get the massive swells. That's where they have international surfing competitions every year. October through February, best time to visit Puerto Rico if you're scouting out the waves, but they have plenty to offer year-round, even for people who prefer to stay on shore. And I don't think that we can leave Puerto Rico, and I know I didn't get to all of it, without at least looking at some of the historic ruins that have been left behind that have such interesting stories surrounding them. And this is one place to put on your list. That is called Aguadilla. This is on Puerto Rico's western coast. There's a beach called Crash Boat Beach, which is incredible. And they have snorkeling, they have all kinds of things here. But this is one of the ruins located at Aguadilla. So you've got right in the middle of these hundreds of years old structures, often that were used by the military. They have food trucks and bars and tropical cocktails and snorkeling and all kinds of fun things to do. So beautiful. I'm thinking Puerto Rico is a lot better than a lot of people think it is. And that, my friends, is Travel Tuesday. Thank you for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed the beaches today. Travel Tuesday. All right. I am off to school to lead the Halloween costume exchange. It's going pretty well. I've had a lot of costumes contributed. I've yesterday had a lot of costumes claimed. So it's doing pretty well. This might be the last day of it, but so far the first Halloween costume exchange is doing all right. I do want to say a huge thank you to Rhonda with a $10 super sticker. Mahalo, Kim, she says, for calming me down. I gave $5 to the Mark Thompson show. To Hillary, you deserve times 2. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's rough. Let me tell you, there's a Mark Thompson show fan discussion board that Wes created, and that is on Facebook. And Rhonda had posted something about having family members that are Trumpers and how difficult that is. You know, we love our family members, but sometimes it's just I don't know, trying to cope with the disappointment of not being able to talk to people that you love like you used to be able to when someone kind of takes a turn. I'm hopeful that after this election, things will calm down. Maybe I have naive hope, but that's my hope. Anyway, thank you, Rhonda, for the nice contribution. I know we don't normally talk politics on this show, but I know people are going through a lot. All right. Ooh, where are you going, Cranky? Where are you headed? Maybe we'll go there next week to see where you've been. Let us know in the chat and I'll put it on the screen. Thank you, Cranky. Oh no, Rev can't sleep. Calm, everybody calm and think of the beaches of Puerto Rico. How about that, right? Oh, Liz isn't so optimistic as I. It might take some time. Yeah, it might take some time. We might have some shenanigans in the election. We might have some protests. We might have some stuff. It's a scary time we're living in. I've talked to my husband about it, and he keeps saying, we've had times like this before. There have been elections that have been like this in the past. Because I keep saying, there's never been anything like this, right? He's like, no, actually, there were other presidential elections that were pretty bad. We had a civil war, and we made our way through it. If we made our way through that, can we make our way through this? I hope so. I put a new decoration in this office, by the way. This is a hand-painted pumpkin. You guys see this? Jacob painted me this weird little pumpkin statue, and it's been looking at me the whole time. Happy Halloween, almost. All right, you guys, make it a really good day. Hopefully we're a little calmed down, right? Before we launch into tomorrow. This is going to be a great Wednesday show. John Rothman will be on the Mark Thompson show, which starts at 11 a.m. We'll talk politics, and it'll be a good show. So please do join me back on YouTube. And until we meet again, make it the very best Travel Tuesday that you can. All right, you guys. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Well, I can see your text, SF Tesla. I can see your chat. So looks like it's working over here.